I get it standing in the backyard with a stack of catalog pages, wondering if that big metal frame with a netted roof is really going to make your summer evenings any better, can feel like a gamble. You don't want to drop a couple $100s on something that looks great in the pictures but turns out to be a windy, leaky disappointment, especially when you've got a backyard that's already a bit cramped. The question you're really asking yourself is, will this patio gazebo actually give me shade, keep the bugs out, and stand up to the occasional storm without turning my outdoor space into a maintenance nightmare? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into the Purple Leaf 12x24 gazebo, the first thing that jumped out was the combination of a galvanized steel frame and a wood grain finish. The finish is meant to look like wood but keep you from having to deal with the typical rot and splinter issues that come with real timber. That's a practical trade-off. You get the aesthetic of a wooden structure without the rot-related upkeep, but you also lose the natural warmth that some people love about actual wood. If you're a homeowner who lives in a humid region, the rust-resistant coating is a real plus because it means the frame will stay clean longer, and you won't suddenly find those unsightly orange spots after a rainy season. The design includes a vented roof. In real life, that translates to a little extra comfort when the sun's high. Hot air can escape while cooler breezes flow under the roof. Families I spoke to mentioned that they could actually enjoy a meal outdoors at midday without feeling like they were sitting inside an oven. That ventilation also helps with wind pressure. The roof's angular shape and the built-in water gutter system channel rainwater away from the frame's edges, which means the gazebo's standing points don't get constantly soaked and weakened. For anyone who has dealt with a leaky overhead structure that drips onto a dinner table, this is a noticeable advantage. The netting is removable and upgraded compared to some cheaper alternatives. In practice, that means you can pop it off for a clear sky view when the weather's fine, and snap it back on when mosquitoes get active. The netting's durability is often a point of failure on other gazebos. Here, reviewers have pointed out that it doesn't tear easily, which is reassuring if you have kids or pets that love to climb and tug. If your primary use is simply a shaded spot for a weekend barbecue, this feature might feel a bit overkill, but for someone who actually wants a bug-free oasis for evening drinks, it pays off. Installation is another spot where expectations can be misaligned. Purple Leaf doesn't offer an in-home assembly service, so you'll be doing all the setup yourself, or hiring a handyman. The package includes all the necessary hardware, but the manual is fairly straightforward. Assemble the frame, attach the roof panels, and then secure the netting. For a DIY-inclined buyer, the process is manageable within a few hours, especially with a friend helping. However, if you're not comfortable with using basic tools or you're dealing with a concrete patio that needs anchoring, the lack of professional installation could become a hidden cost. Take the time to measure the exact area where you plan to place the gazebo, because the 12x24 footprint is sizable. You'll need clearance for doors to swing open and for wind to flow through without hitting nearby walls or fences. Now, who should actually consider buying this? First, families who spend a lot of time outdoors during the warmer months and need a reliable place to eat, relax, or host guests will find the space generous enough for a large dining table, a lounge set, or even a small outdoor bar. Garden hobbyists who want a protected area for potting plants or storing garden tools can also benefit from the extra headroom the vented roof provides, as it reduces heat buildup inside the gazebo. If you live on a property that sees frequent thunderstorms, the drainage system should keep you from dealing with puddles pooling around the base, a real headache with many other gazebos. On the flip side, people who are looking for a minimalist, low-profile shelter may want to skip this model. The 12x24 size is quite large, so if your yard is small or you're only trying to cover a single chair, the structure could dominate the space and feel disproportionate. Also, if you're primarily after a cheap aesthetic touch and don't mind occasional bugs, you may find the upgraded netting and vented roof more than you need, and a cheaper pop-up canopy could serve you just fine. Budget-conscious shoppers who are hoping to save on installation should also factor in the potential cost of hiring help if they're not confident in assembling it themselves. From a practical standpoint, the biggest strengths of this gazebo are its weather-ready design and its size. The galvanized steel frame doesn't just look sturdy, It actually holds up when you have a moderate wind gust, and